Bootcamp day 4. So these are the topics. We got stacked profile, retreat zone, POC hint, an important rule in stacked profile, cash session open to a trend day, imbalance low volume node into on a composition profile, delta levels in daily profiles, profit release, and lastly locked value model. Stacked profiles. We all know now what those are. It's overlapping value areas. What this means is that price got accepted 2 full sessions in one price area, meaning it found fair value here. You can merge them, but for the sake of it, I'm gonna leave them as it is to show you something. So this stacked profile zone, essentially this is a check mark because this is a cluster of orders. Price was chopping and found fair value here. When we break out of it, you can expect a trending day. And how do you know if it's a trending day? Well, volume builds on the direction that we are trending. So for example, here we were short. The majority of the volume was down here. However, the idea with this part is that when we break out of it, so if we expect a long-term direction move, there's a high chance that we will revisit this zone first before we get it. I'm calling this zone a retreat zone. It's pretty much the same thing as I showed you in the previous video about battle of orders. Sellers won the fight up here. Push lower, they lost the fight here. Where will we retrace? Well, back to the retreat zone where they recently had control, which is exactly what happened in this case. As you can see, we broke out of it, then we came back into it, chopped around, and we found sellers again and we pushed lower. And one more important thing, always mark out the swing point from which the move started. So in this case, on the stack profiles, we want to mark out value area high, because if we break above this, then the auction has changed. Okay, but back to the stacked profiles. I'm gonna show you guys a hint that we got to learn, which is super valuable. So if you look at these stacked profiles, the value area is essentially the same thing on every one of those. Here is value area low on the first one. On the second one, same level. Third one, same level. How can we know which side is pressuring more than the other? Take a look at the POC. This is where the most volume were transacted. As you can see, it's moving lower and lower. Hence, sellers are pushing more than buyers. So this is a good indication that we might break out to the lower side, since the volume is building lower and lower. If we come back to this profile, on open, we might chop up and down, and then eventually in the same session, we might break out of this stacked profile zone. However, sometimes we might open up on cash session below the stacked profile. In that case, expect a trending day, and on every retrace on those days, expect a reload, so try to jump on the train. So here's an example. Say that we open up here below the stacked profile. Then you can expect a trending day. And on every retrace, they will reload. So just try to jump on the train then. And what you can do then is this. Take a volume profile, mark out important delta levels, the most significant one. So for example, this one is the most significant one. Mark it out. If price comes up here, you have a short. Also, keep an eye on value area high on the current day's developing value area. So if price do something like this, here's your first chance, or price comes up here, here's your second chance. And one last thing, here's the rule. The more stacked profiles we have in a zone, the bigger the explosion out will be. See it like this. Sellers are defending here, buyers are defending here. The more profiles we have, the more orders will be in these zones. And just logically, if we break out of one zone, well, all of these buyers have to cover themselves. So we will get a pretty big move. On to the next thing. I won't be able to show this on the chart since there's no low volume nodes or imbalances shown on the composition profile. However, so on the profile, we might have an imbalance like this, so a low volume node. And say that these are our daily profiles, so we are bullish, 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 value shifts higher, then we shift lower, okay, and then we see this imbalance, low volume node. Market hates imbalances and they usually rebalance them. So if you see this shift, then this can be an ideal bias for you. So expect maybe a rebalance and then we might auction higher. Okay, next thing, say you have a bias now and you want to take shorts. For example, we saw that we pushed lower, we clearly are bearish in this. What you can do is mark out the important levels, so value area high, point of control. You can mark them out like this. This is fine. However, if you just look at the value area high, for example, this is quite a large area where you want to take a short from. This is what you can do to refine this area. Take a volume profile, look at the delta levels, just watch for the most significant delta levels. Those are the most significant levels. What you can do now is just refine your area. That's it. So if price comes up here, you can take a short from here. We have marked out the most important levels, not the whole zone. Another thing you can do is take the volume profile of the whole swing. And it's basically the same thing. Watch for the most significant levels on the delta profile. So for example here, the most significant level from the sellers. As you can see on this day, price came up to this zone, reacted, pushed lower. So that's how you find the most important levels. Now profit release. So if you watch my previous video, you should know what the composition profile is. It's basically 3 months of data merged into one whole profile. Since we knew the whole week, we wanted to come back to the point of control on the composition profile. When we reach down here, what you can expect is that big players will take profits, meaning we might balance or we might just get a rejection from it. So essentially that's them taking profits. And most profit takes are on the auction are usually on Fridays. And for the last thing, the locked value model. If you want to trade the profile place, so you take value area high, point of control and so on, this is the model to use. Use 5-minute time frame, 60 to 75 limit on contracts for filtering the big trades. Okay, and here's an example of how the model works. Say we have a zone here that we identify on the daily profiles. So for example, value area high, and you want to take a short in this zone. And it's as simple as this. So here are the 3 things we need. We need a bias. You need to identify as an important level, a zone. And then you need confirmation. We have our marked zone where we want to take a short from. For confirmation, you want to see one side needs to lose, the other side needs to win. If we close like this, you can see this aggressive buyer is losing. Then the next candle shows aggressive sellers that are winning since the candle closed like this. Then you could take a trade, stop loss above the zone that we identified, and you can aim lower. That's it. And here's an example of how you can trade it. We shifted lower, we broke below, back into value area on the composition profile as well. We know that we are bearish. We have our bias. Next thing we need to do is mark out the zones. So these are our important zones. And you can also mark out the most significant delta levels. So in this case, it's here. That's it. If price comes up into one of these, then we have a setup for going short. So the day started by testing the POC and rejecting. Say that you missed this. This is fine. Then you can do this. As the day is developing, take the profile, plot the swing, and like it shows you the most significant level, mark it out. So when price comes up, test this zone. And now what you want to see is one side winning, the other side losing. Super clearly now. We come into the zone. Look at these trapped buyers and these sellers. And the candle closes right here. So the sellers are winning and the buyers are losing. If you want to enter, you can do it here. Stop loss above. All right. That was it for day 4. See you on the next one.